right, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at 12.2, surface area of prisms and cylinders. Okay, we're going to talk about what surface area means. Surface area is if you, like, you're wrapping it, right? It's on the outside of the whole thing. So some people get volume mixed up with surface area. That is how much stuff you can put in it. Surface area is how much you can wrap around it. Okay? So a prism, we already know what that is. A right prism is each lateral edge is perpendicular to both faces. So that means it's not like a prism that's tilted on its side. It's straight up and down. Please pay attention. Please don't talk while I'm talking. Please read along. Okay. Yes, that would be a lateral prism. Okay, prisms have lateral edges that are not perpendicular to the bases are oblique prisms. The surface area of a polyhedron is the sum of the area of all its faces. A lateral area of a polyhedron is the sum of the areas of its lateral faces. That means not the bases of it. The two-dimensional representation of all prisms' faces is called a net. It's where if you cut the shape out and laid it flat. That's what we mean by net. A cylinder is a solid with congruent circular bases that lies in parallel planes. A cylinder is called a right cylinder if it's taken and destroyed in the center of the bases is perpendicular to the bases. The entire surface area of the cylinder is equal to the sum of the lateral areas and the area of the two bases. Okay, so this is where we get to the important part. The surface area of a right prism is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. Okay? Surface area of a right cylinder theorem is, you probably want to use this one. 2 times pi r squared, because that's the area of the base, and there's 2 of them, plus 2 pi r h. Okay. All right, let's start with prisms first. Yeah.
You go over that.
Which one, the cylinders or the prisms? Okay, the prisms. Surface area of a prism is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height.
So it's 2 times the area of the base.
Right.
What is that?
Well, we're going to do one right now. Okay. So we've got a rectangular prism. So do you see how these are the bases? This front one and the back one? Okay? Because they are the 2 that are identical. All right. So we're going to find the area of the base first. The area of the base, I'm going to put a big B for base. What's 3 times 4? 12. Okay. Let's find the perimeter of the bases. So that's 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4, right? So it's 14. Okay. Now we're going to stick it in our formula. So the surface area equals 2 times the base, which is 12, plus the perimeter, which is 14, plus what we call the height. And the height is the distance between the bases. It's not necessarily how high it is.
So the bases are
identical.
Well, then what about the ones that go around it?
There are 4 of them. The bases, there's only 2 of them that are identical. Okay. Those are the bases. Okay, so it's 14 times 7. And then we simply put this in our calculator. We say 2 times 12 plus 14 times 7, giving us 122 inches squared. How do we feel about that? Anybody confused? The perimeter, I counted the outside of the base. 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4. Yes. The 7 is the height. It's the difference between the 2 sides. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this is the shape we're talking about, right? This Kleenex box. Okay. So this is 3. This is 4. Do you see how these 2 ends are identical? And the 4 around the side are identical? Okay? So we know that those are the bases. So it's turned like this, but we can think of it this way. All right? So you found the area of both bases, which is 12. You found the perimeter, which is 14. Okay? You found the height, which is 7. We good? Okay.
So what you did times the bases is 400.
That gives you the area of the base. Yep. There's no 2 up there.
So it says S equals 2
Times 12. That's the formula. Okay. 14 is the perimeter. 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4 is the perimeter. 7 is the height. This is, the formula is 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the height. Remember, the height is the distance between the 2 congruent bases.
So not from top to bottom, but
Right.
from side to side.
Not necessarily, it could be from top to bottom, it could change. But we know those 2 are the only congruent ones, so those are the bases.
So you're only finding
Yes. Okay. The next one's gonna be a little bit harder because it's a what? Is it a rectangular prism? Is it a cube?
Triangular.
It's a triangular prism. So the triangle makes it harder. First of all, we've got a right triangle, and we know it's right because of that little square right there. We have 3 and 5. We've got to find the other side. What's the other side?
4.
4. Okay? So let's find the area of the base, the 2 triangles. So how are we going to find that? We're going to do 0.5 or 1/2 times 3 times 4 gives us 6. So the base is 6. Now, what's the perimeter of the triangles? Yep, 3 plus 4 plus 5. Just counting the outside. You good? Yes, ma'am. Pythagorean theorem. 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. But we know 3, 4, 5.
Special.
It's a special right triangle, so that's how he could just do it in his head. Yes. 4 times 3 times 1/2. That's the area of a triangle? Yep. Okay, what's the height? 10. Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so I get a lot of people asking me over and over again the same questions because I think 3 times I've been asked how I got 4. So let's go over it again. You've got, it's a right triangle, so we know 3 squared plus x squared equals 5 squared, which gave us x is 4, so I knew the 4 goes here. Okay? Also, we know it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. It's a special triangle, so that's what we do so quick in our head.
Yeah.
So, then we know that the base equals 1/2 3, the bottom of the triangle, times the height of the triangle, which gives us 6. Okay? The perimeter, I added up the outsides. The height is the difference between them. Are we okay so far? Questions? Yes? Yes, because it's the perimeter of just the triangle. Okay, now I'm going to stick in the formula. So the surface area is 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the height. So that gives me 12 plus 120, which gives me 132 centimeters squared. Okay, does anybody have questions about this? You're trying to find the base, the area of the base, the perimeter of the base, the height, and then you stick in the formula. These formulas you'll be allowed to use on your quizzes and tests. I'll give them to you. You don't have to memorize them. All right, now we're going to find the surface area of this very confusing one.
Yeah, that is.
There should be a line on the bottom of yours. This is a pentagon prism. So, how do we find the area of a pentagon? This is the hard part. Right. 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. We know all the sides are 7.05, so we're going to times that by 5. To get the perimeter of our base. So we get 32.25, 1/2, and we've got to find the apothem. We know the radius. So we know the radius is 6. We know this side is 7.05. If we divide it by 2, we get 3.525. The right triangle, because I took half of it. And we want to find the length of the apothem. So if we have 2 sides of a right triangle, how do we find the third side?
3.25
Okay, so we do 3.525 squared plus x squared equals, okay. So this gives me 12.425,625 plus x squared equals 36. So 36 minus that gives me, and I want the square root of it. 23.574375. 4.85. Okay, so now we go 1/2 times 4.85 times 32.25. I know.
I hope there's nothing like this.
Is there?
Of course there will be.
Decimal in the 42565. What's the decimal?
What?
Oh wait, no. It's
23
12
point.
Sorry. My bad.
Are we gonna be some like this on our homework?
Okay, right here, up until this point, this is what I gave you on the last test. You had ones like this on the last test. Okay, so nothing I've done up here so far is new. We found the area of the base. This is the new part that I'm doing right now. So everything else I've taught you, I've tested you on it. Right now, I'm going to do 2 times the base plus the perimeter, which we know is 32.25, times the height. That is the only part. The part right there in black is the only part that's new. Everything else we've done before.
Yeah, 32.25. That's the
Perimeter. Like this. Yeah. It's 446.65 feet squared.
perimeter.
So I know it seemed like a lot of numbers, but we've done all of this before. So let me go over it again. We know when we're, hold on, I'm going all over it before. I probably won't answer your question. We're looking at a pentagon. We know to find the area of the pentagon is 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. Well, it gives us what the outside is, and it shows that it's a regular pentagon. So that means all the sides are the same. So I times it by 5, giving me the perimeter. Then to find the apothem, I made a right triangle. I knew the radius was 6. I knew 1/2 of the length was this length right here. So that gave me part of a right triangle. I used the Pythagorean theorem to find the last part. Then I took 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter to give me the area of the base.
You made a mistake right there.
Then I took 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the height. Where did I make this thing?
32.25 is 35.25.
The perimeters?
Yeah, because 7 times 5 is 35.
Oh, you're right. It's supposed to be 35.25.
So we did all.
No, we just have to change very quickly. It takes 2 seconds. 35.25. So we just write 0.5 times 4.85 times 35.25, which would make this
Wait, so
84, hold on, 0.48. And then we would just change this right here. This is 84.48. Oops. Okay, so 2 times 84.48 plus 35.25 times 9 gives us 486.21 feet.
okay, well, we should.
Alright.
We're gonna have to change the.
What?
Pythagorean height.
No, because I did 7.5 divided by 2 gives me this half. So that's good. Okay, now we're going to look at cylinders. We've got 2 cylinders to look at, guys. What? Scroll up to what? This is part of a separate problem. Okay, let's go on to cylinders. Okay.
Then how did you get these?
The base? That was the whole finding the apothem, finding the perimeter. Okay. I think cylinders are even easier. It makes more sense to me. Remember that our formula is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Okay? So we know what the radius is, we know what the height is. So we go 2 times pi times 2 squared plus 2 times pi times 2 times 5. Is anybody confused where I got